Hello, everyone. I'm Santiago C. Carrata, President and CEO of Visit Tampa Bay, and welcome to another episode of Unlocking Tampa Bay. This summer has been filled with endless fun and adventures. In July, we celebrated Disability Pride Month, opened the newly renovated Tampa Convention Center, celebrated 4th of July at Boom by the Bay, went to London for National Geographic's Food Festival, and so much more. Now that we're in August, this month we get to celebrate National Cuban Sandwich Day. We're hosting a marketing activation in Atlanta, Beer Fest at Busch Gardens, and a multitude of events such as Rock the Park, Tampa Theater Summer Classics, and lots more. And as usual, take it away, Serena.
Thank you so much, Santiago. And on this episode of Unlocking Tampa Bay, it's all about the arts and growing the international footprint around the world. Who better to start the conversation than the founder of Tampa City Ballet, Paula Nunez. Paula, thank you so much for being here.
And thank you so much for having me here. Talking about the arts is my favorite.
And, dance is very close to our CEO's heart because his wife, Shayna, is also a professional dancer and educator just like yourself.
Yes, and an incredible advocate for the arts. So Shayna has been a force for the field, for the Tampa fields in Tampa Bay, and an incredible teacher and choreographer. We worked together actually many years ago.
And for you, just like her, arts is and dance is such a passion that started at such a young age. You were a little girl when your mother introduced you to ballet in the country of Venezuela. So tell us how you got started.
Yes, I got started because my mom was always a lover of the arts. She wanted us, my brother and I, to be related to the arts, even if we will not be professional. But she always was very important for her to take us to the orchestra, to the ballets. So I started when I was 5 years old, and I did click immediately. That was for me.
Oh, and then so share with us how you ended up in Tampa and started Tampa, the company. Yes, the company.
Yes, I came to Tampa because, my husband got offered a job here in Tampa Bay, and we decided together that this will be good for our kids. My country was in a very difficult situation at that time, and I had a beautiful conservatory in Venezuela with more than 300 students.
Wow!
Yeah, it was a conservatory that worked just with scholarship kids, and that still is there. It's 30 years old now.
Congratulations. But you brought that whole message of arts and the importance of arts in dance to Tampa.
Yes, exactly. So when I came 2002, I wanted to keep teaching dance. So I started to look for a job in Tampa Bay, and I discovered that ballet was not at that time that popular. And so my husband helped me, and I opened a very small studio in the heart of New Tampa. There I started to teach, and in 2008, 2012, we decided to open a nonprofit to see if we could get scholarships to more students. And that's when I started to work with Shana at the Orange School and art schools to recruit kids that were talented and they wanted to dedicate their life, or they wanted to get professional training. So we can offer a more professional training at the center. And it's not until 2018 that we opened the professional company, Tampa City Ballet.
So that is so wonderful. Paula, why is it that arts and dance are so important for a community as a whole? Like, say someone might not be, they may not think, I want to be a dancer, but it helps the entire community. We are unlocking Tampa Bay. How would you answer that?
Yes, I think the arts are vital for a community. I think all the arts. I, of course, can talk more about dance because that's my field, but I think the arts bring the humanity to the communities, also bring communities together. They work as a model of interaction connection and integration for the community. When you think about, we have, for example, a rehearsal in dance, and we invite audience to come to watch. The audience are moved by the dancers, their work, their passion, their soul, their hours that they rehearse to bring a piece. They are moved by a choreography that is working in his creation, step by step. Then they go to a theater. They are moved by creations that are made by humans in the moment. Or also for me, it's very important at this moment to create art in the streets, to create art outdoors, outside the theater. So it could be everybody. Everyone could be involved in the arts today.
You know, at the very beginning of the conversation, we talked about the international footprint. And on the show, we've talked about how Tampa, we're breaking records. It's amazing. You know, Michelin star restaurants, we have 5-star hotel. I mean, it's amazing. How do the arts help fuel that on bringing guests to our city?
Yes, the arts are essential, in my point of view, for the tourism. Because, for example, if you think, we have two types of tourists in Tampa Bay. We have the tourists that come to spend their winter here, and usually they are used to go to see ballets, to galleries, to museums, to a lot of culture. So they come to Tampa, and it's amazing that we can give them kind of the same level of arts here. Also, you have the tourists that come from internationally. So this is a tourist that comes usually during the summer, our summertime. So for us, is to be energetic and active all year round, to give them the opportunity to know more about our city, what we do, what is, I don't want to say local art, but I will say the history of Tampa through the arts.
Through the arts.
Yes.
It provides, as you said, such an energy that really is contagious. Not only contagious for our community, but that for around the world. So you have been in this space for several years now.
Yes.
How have you seen it change up to 2023?
I see the change. I see the interest in the community more in the corporations, organizations like Arts Alliance, Tampa Bay Dance with Shanna. I see the interest to develop really another level in the arts. And I also see, for example, we have Sarasota with 3 founded companies, dance companies. We have Miami City Ballet. We have 4 founded companies in Miami. We have Orlando with Orlando Ballet, which is totally supported by the city and by the sponsors and corporations. So I feel that this is a great moment to develop not just one company, but several dance companies that can bring different genres of dance, different opportunities for choreographers, for dancers. We have incredible organizations like HEC with Cristina Costa, UT, USF, University of South Florida, where I am a faculty. University of South Florida is a top 12 dance program.
Isn't that incredible?
Incredible. We are with Juilliard School. We are with the Point Park in NYU. And we have students graduating every year. And sometimes they have to leave because
that was what I was going to say, but we want to keep them here.
We want to keep
them here. Right?
We want to keep them. We are in a incredible moment to build, like I tell you, not just one dance company, many dance companies. We have so much talent here.
And we talk, on this show and throughout Unlocking Tampa Bay, we talk about how this also, not only with tourism, it helps with local jobs.
Totally. These students that are incredible, choreographers, creators, they will not leave. A lot of them will stay here in Tampa Bay, giving their talents, and that's how you build companies. That has the dance companies and professional jobs. Of course, these are professional dancers work all day long. It's like a normal career, normal job. They go to the studio at 9 o'clock in the morning. They leave at 6 o'clock. The work is so hard. They take class every day, technique class, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then it's all days process, creation. And today world, where contemporary is at the lead, is cutting edge choreographies, avant-garde choreographers, stories that are are real, that bring the community, bring the story of the city alive.
Yes.
So that's a process. It's a research. Everything starts with a research.
Do you have I know, ballet is your forte.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite spot though in Tampa, or a favorite place to watch shows or go?
Yes, I love everything that happened in Tampa. It's such a great energy, such an incredible city. I go to everything, but I have a passion for underground art. I have I'm very passionate about underground art. The art that happens sometimes in silence. The art that happen that sometimes doesn't sell very easy, but that's where we have to come as a lovers of the arts and try to inform the community. So sometimes that connection with the community will make the art grow. Because not all the time we can give an art that is, and I love competitions and everything, but that art that is kind of easy to watch. But if we are well informed, we can go to the underground arts and we can discover so much treasures there.
I can tell that we used the word energy earlier in the show, but how so energized that you even get, and your beautiful smile talking about art. So as we progress forward, and again, we're in 2023, and it's hard to put it in a word or a phrase. What is your dream for the city of Tampa?
To have, like I told you, not just one dance company, to have many dance companies where we can inspire each other, but vitality. I think Tampa Bay is a incredible, energetic, young city that deserve avant-garde art, cutting edge, and very innovative. I will say innovation.
Innovation. Well, you have been such a pleasure to speak with. And speaking of art, a close friend of yours, Michele Smith, but that you both admire each other so much, is actually our next guest on the show.
Amazing
and
woman.
She's an amazing woman, just like you.
Thank you.
Paula, it was so wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so much for being such a treasure and being on Unlocking Tampa Bay.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
And continuing our conversation, as promised, the executive director of the Tampa Arts Alliance, Michele Smith. Michele, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And you wore yellow.
Yes, got to represent my love for Visit Tampa Bay.
We love it. And just earlier on the show, we had Paula Nunez with Tampa City Ballet. The both of you have such great respect for each other.
Yes, I adore her. We are so lucky in Tampa to have this caliber of leadership. It's amazing.
So speaking of that, ballet, there's so many different forms of art. Tell us about the Tampa Arts Alliance.
Well, the Tampa Arts Alliance, we're a newly formed organization. We're 2 years old, but we were formed out of this desire and community to unite a little bit more of the arts and to have representation for the arts and really capitalize on all the development that's happening here. We have a thriving ecosystem of arts. And so being able to kind of have a unified voice to attract funding, to attract attention, to put the word out, to get the spotlight, to engage the energy and the excitement around the arts, that's what we're here for.
So why do you think that the arts are so important to build, as we talked about, that international footprint for a city?
It's something that is integral. In our conversation we had before, we talked about the fact that when you think about the cities that attract tourism, that are really, really known as being developed cities, all of them have a very strong artistic footprint. So if Tampa wants to be competitive in the world as a place to visit, as a place to live and play and to grow business, we have to have all of these strata of our culture here identified and really healthy. And because we have so much artistic talent here, when we can really put our focus in on not only appreciating the economic impact of all of those arts, but on nurturing it and growing it, then it just elevates the whole entire city.
And, as you shared, you just started 2 years ago with this. 2 years ago, recognizing the importance of art as we grow.
Well, we've had for a long time in Tampa. I've been involved in the art scene for 25 years. We've had tremendous leadership, some great art existing organizations already. So we weren't starting anything new. We were just beginning to put some focus and intention on expanding the pie. So instead of having so many pieces in the pie competing for it, we're like, let's build a bigger pie. And that kind of a mindset. So our organization was organically developed. It was part of conversations that were already happening from individual arts leaders. I know I really came into the conversation when I was working with the Downtown Partnership and managing the Arts and Culture Committee. I went to an evening event that was sponsored by Gobioff Foundation, Tucker Hall. I think this was in 2019. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. There is an interest here in artists. In 2003, I started the Artist Network of Tampa Bay.
Wow.
And it was this kind of idea, but the time wasn't ready just yet. So it really didn't go anywhere. But I realized in 2019, seeing the industry leaders and the foundations bringing forth that same conversation again, because it all builds on each other, I was like, wow, something's new is happening.
I love how you explain it with the growing of the pie, right? So I moved to the city of Tampa 23 years ago. Loved it the minute I landed here. But in the past few years, we're a rock star around the globe.
Yes.
So with that comes art. Do you have I know you represent all art. You know, we had the opportunity to talk to Paula, of course, about dance and ballet. Is there a favorite? You probably can't say a favorite. We can't put you on the spot like that. But is there, maybe rephrase the question, is there specific art that we should be growing, or are we doing the right thing with what we're doing right now?
Well, we're still having to identify that a little bit. It's really important to know what we have here. And just to touch on to the leadership that we have in the city and the county, for instance, Visit Tampa Bay, I love their approach to the culture. It's not exclusive to per se, like just Michelin restaurants. There's also acknowledgement and inclusion of mom and pop restaurants.
Right.
So there's all these different layers of what builds the community and what builds culture that are acknowledged at these really great leadership bodies. So the same thing with the arts is identifying what's here and then really investing in it. So I can't necessarily pick a favorite without getting into trouble.
I know that was not a fair question.
Well, it's a very valid question, right? Because what is our particular flavor? What does Tampa have to offer? I know, being here for so long, Tampa, sometimes we fall into a rut of thinking, oh, we're going to be the next Austin or the next New Orleans or the next this. And what I'm really seeing that's different, that's been happening the past couple of years, is that we're not trying to be the next anything. We're focusing inward and saying what's here and how do we exemplify it and love on it and expand it. What is Tampa? And that's what's really exciting. So as we inventory what's here, then we can see that's, instead of like importing in, we're going to have a movie studio. Maybe we will, but what's here existing that we can take care of and nourish.
And I love that you said that, because we've had other guests on the show that said, you're right. We don't want to be some other city. Let's build on the flavors of Tampa right now. Yes. So along that comment, what do you feel is the flavor when it comes to art?
It's varied. You know, I was having a conversation recently with a major international funding foundation, and they asked about Tampa's art scene. And it made me think of the spring at Ulele, which is so beautiful. And that's my neighborhood too. And for a long time, that spring was unacknowledged and overgrown, and the Columbia and the Ulele has just brought it back to life. It's gorgeous. But when you look at that spring, it's an estuary. You've got little bodies of tadpoles, you've got turtles nesting, and then as you go out from the spring water into the river, you've got alligators coming in from the bay. You've got dolphins and stingrays and manatees. I mean, it's an amazing ecosystem. And that's how we have to look at the arts here as well. We've got these beautiful underground developments that happen. We've also got these anchor institutions like the Straz and the Tampa Museum of Art. We've got world-renowned institutions like Graphic Studio and Blue Acier. We have like all of these components, so it's really important to invest into the entire big picture and have a space for everyone to thrive and know that there is space for everyone. So the tadpoles are not intimidated by... Am I getting too esoteric here?
No, but I love this. So how do you feel that we are there globally, or what do we have to do?
I think that the focus needs to still continue in on identifying who we are and what's here. So when we speak of there globally, what does that really mean? Are we Paris? No, we'll never be Paris because, first of all, you've got fashion houses for 500 years. You've got all of this history that is just not intrinsic to the U.S., period. But we've got our own history here that's really being cultivated and developed and appreciated. The historical preservation that's happening right now is phenomenal. It's really wonderful. So I don't really think there's any there to get. I think we are, we're there. Because we're here.
And, you are part of history. Paula's part of history. When we were talking how Paula started, dancing at a very, very, very young age. I do love talking on the show on the personal history. And since you and I talked, if you don't mind sharing, you never imagined even getting into the arts. It was your dear brother that got you into the arts. You had such a different profession.
I did.
Can you share that and how it really changed the focus and how art can change focuses?
Sure. I always had a passion for the arts. I started dancing very young and was engaged in all sorts of courses and loved it, but I didn't see having a career in it. And I honestly always thought that wasn't possible in Tampa. And I was more focused on what's practical, like quote unquote practical. So my schooling, while much of it was in the arts, when it was time for me to really hone on my degree, I focused on international business. And I focused on really working in other countries for a long time and developing industry and making money for bigger corporations or developments at the time. And my brother went a different path. He decided to absolutely follow his passion for music and animation. He went out to LA and made a name for himself. And he was a music coordinator out there. He has screen credits and Shrek and Gladiator and American Beauty and all of these really amazing experiences. And he was out of the blue when he was 42 diagnosed with a brain tumor that was a terminal diagnosis. And
we're so sorry.
Thank you. So that for me at that time, I was working in oil and gas and was really focused in on being an international boss lady,
a business person, right? Like, right.
And so when I went to care for him and to really make that a focal point, during during that time, it began to kind of shape my perspective, spending time in LA and seeing all this industry around the arts and seeing his example of putting forth his passion first and foremost really planted a seed, because life is not guaranteed for any of us. That is the nature of life in general. And it made me begin to question, like, how am I spending my time? Is it resonant with my values and with what I want to bring to the community and what I want to express in this world? So unfortunately, he passed within a year. And that really
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. It really did shift how I decided to spend my time and to begin that exploration and giving myself permission to think, okay, what is it I want to express? What do I want to be a part of? And that's a continual thing. But at the moment, that's expressing in this community in Tampa and being a part of this amazing growth and cultural revitalization that's happening.
And I asked you to share your personal story because with the arts comes, as you said, a vision, embracing what life truly is about. And it brought you to the point where you are today as the executive director of the Tampa Arts Alliance. I mean, changing, and helping this whole community grow. And I know Paula also has a personal story on what makes her even more passionate about it. I think we bring her back on the show, and maybe
that'd be amazing.
What do you think? And the three of us can have a little chat on how
I would love that.
Personal journeys really can affect so many people that you don't even realize.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Let's bring Paula back. Okay, first on the show, I had to bring you both together, Michele and Paula. I mean, I know the two of you have such great respect for each other, but listening to the conversation with Michele, Paula, you realize too, you also had a very sad loss, a brain tumor 14 years ago, your husband.
Yes, I didn't know the story of your brother. I'm very sorry for that. And I immediately I relate to my husband also passed away 14 years ago in a brain tumor, totally unexpected. But I think from tragedy, sometimes we just take that faith on what we do with our life, like you were saying, and it kind of become a value for us to keep going for our families, for the things that we love in life, and mostly in our case for the arts.
Yes, for the arts. What a powerful message from both of you that you channeled that tragedy. And again, we're so sorry, but channel the tragedy into this passion and love for the arts in honor of your loved ones.
Well, that's what the arts really represent, really. It's an articulation and a digestion of our human experiences. And that's the reason why we believe so passionately in supporting the arts. We encourage the community to go out and see shows, even especially the little known shows, the underground exhibitions, and these opportunities to see different perspectives on how people are digesting their lives. We've all been through so much, pandemic and otherwise. The modern era is not an easy era to live in. And so the arts are really an integral part in digesting it and processing it, and then also creating unity with each other.
And that is a wonderful call to action, because both of you that you come from the nonprofit world. So you need the community, right? You need the community to support you.
Completely. We need the community to know more about what we do and how we wanted to connect with everyone, with everybody, and how can the arts serve the community. We're here to serve. We're here to give what we know, what we love, with passion, with respect, and with a lot of knowledge of the arts can change lives forever.
Well, thank you both so much. It has been such an honor to have you on the show. And as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more, just head to visittampabay.com. I'm Serena Fazan for Unlocking Tampa Bay. Until next time, stay safe.